Executive Brief. Executive Brief.
My good people of Abia State, it is my honor and pleasure to address
From the seat of governance in Abia, God's own state, comes a compendium of the governor's weekly engagement in the service to humanity and God.
This government is in its second and final tenure, and therefore we are in a hurry to gain traction and achieve what our mandate people have given to us and defined for us as assignment.
Join the Chief Press Secretary to Abia State Governor Onyebuchi Imemanka on Flow 94.9 FM as he tracks Governor Ikpeazu'S activities in delivering on the social contract with the good people of Abia State.
We have received awards and acknowledgement as the SME capital of Nigeria in recent times.
Executive Brief.
Every Friday at 9:30 a.m.
on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Executive Brief from the horse's mouth.
There is now a deliberate effort to ensure that our infrastructure is solid and durable.
Well, the business of governance is daunting. It demands a lot of precision in the decision-making processes, prudence in the management of scarce resources, and tact in man management. The governor is the chief executive officer of the state because he is saddled with the responsibility of overseeing the affairs of the state. This program serves you all the engagements of Governor Okezie Victor Ikpeazu. Well, it's a weekly compendium of his activities, courtesy of the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor. I am Temple Barra, and I'll be doing this together with the Chief Press Secretary to the Abia State Governor, Barrister Onyebuchi Imemanka. Very good morning to you.
Thank you, Mr. Barra. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Glad to have you. So let's look at this week's activities. We'll start off with today, being the 29th day of May 2020. The first year of the second term, the fifth anniversary of this administration. Okay, so the fifth anniversary of this administration, the first of the second term, what would you say are the gains of this administration so far?
Yeah, thank you very much, Temple Barra. I want to, first of all, congratulate the good people of Abia State for seeing yet another 29th May, the fifth in the series since Governor Ikpeazu came on board. And I want to make it very clear that it's been 5 years of steady progress. It's been 5 years of consolidation. It's been 5 years of focus. It's been 5 years of delivering on promises. And it's been 5 years of careful planning. It's been 5 years of result-oriented leadership. And 3 extra years of consolidation and clear evidences that this governor will definitely, most definitely, leave Abia State much better than he met it, hand over a state that is infrastructurally up to date, economically viable, socially responsive, and generally a strong state.
Okay, so what would you consider as the high points of this administration so far?
Well, in my own view, the high points, there are several high points, but some are very outstanding. One, infrastructural renewal has been one of the high points, of the highest points of this administration. Starting from here in Umuahia, it is very clear that the footprints, the infrastructural footprints of Governor Ikpeazu are there for all to see. As I drove into Umuahia this morning, I came in through Obakala, and from Isi Court, I drove all the way through that Aba road. And TC Bara, you will agree with me that road is a pleasure, not just to ride on, but to look at. It has elevated the aesthetic beauty of our capital city, and is a road that gives me great pleasure. Looking at when I remember how this road was some few years ago, and when I remember the checkered history of this road, when I remember that several attempts had been made in the past to fix this Aba road, and when I remember what Ikpeazu has done to this road, the sheer beauty of that road, the metamorphosis of that road from a near-death trap and a hellish traveling experience to a smooth ride done by one of the best construction companies you can ever find on the African continent, and with guarantees of solidity over the years ahead. It makes me very proud.
Okay, this stretch of road from Obakala now, at what point are we looking at its termination?
Well, the project is in two phases.
Okay.
The entire gamut of the project is from Uchenna Junction here up to the express junction at Obakala Junction.
Okay.
So what we have done, or what the governor has done, is to deliver the first phase, which is actually from the railway crossing up to Uchenna Junction here. Okay.
But I see some patches are still done along Aba Road where you have the prisons, the correctional service center.
Yes.
And I see
the original those parts are not the original parts of the project, of the Aba Road project.
Okay.
But from Uchenna Junction, where this main project stops, you will notice that from there into Umuahia town proper, a lot of re-asphalting work has been going on. It is part of the Operation Zero Pothole policy of the Ikpeazu administration. So the idea, if you look at the statement we released early this morning, the idea is to create from Obakala Junction a one solid stretch of motorable, beautiful roads that will lead you from Obakala right up to Gariki in Umuahia.
Okay.
So that and we will line them up with solar powered street lights as we move ahead. So that from Obakala you drive seamlessly into our capital city and begin to appreciate the beauty, particularly in the night when these street lights come on stream and when they are powered, and you appreciate the beauty and the vision of the dreams of Governor Okezi Ikpeazu. That is in Umuahia.
CPS,
yeah.
There have been certain mantras, cliches associated with this administration. We've had the Zero Pothole project. We've had the Caterpillar Revolution.
Oh yes.
All of these have been geared towards road construction.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say Governor Wonyaba, and on social media, we have pictures and videos surface every now and then as to road construction. You were in a live video describing the state of work done at Opobo Road, yesterday in Aba. But some people still, calling on various radio programs to say that they're not seeing evidences of this, that work is not being done. Can you expatiate on this just a little bit?
Well, we cannot help people with intractable eye problems and perception challenges. I make bold to say I am from Aba. I was born in Aba. I grew up there. And I want to say, without fear of any equivocation, that in the last 30 years, no governor has done half of what Ikpeazu has done in Aba. The last governor...
We can take that to the bank.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The last governor that gave Aba attention the way Ikpeazu is doing now was the late Chief Sam Mbakwe of the old Imo State, who laid the foundation, not just for Aba, but for the old Imo State. Ever since Mbakwe left power, no other governor from the old Imo State till date has come close to what Ikpeazu is doing in Aba. Where do we start? The evidences are all over the place.
Start off from the Osusioma flyover, which you were in the video.
I was there yesterday,
and some people have called it the center table.
Yes, that was why I went there to to ask them if the structure as it is now still looks like a center table. You know, we'll come from a state, or we are in an environment where we have a very, very mischievous, very, very caustic opposition media, and it's okay. It's part of democracy. But from
when you hear center table,
yes, when you hear center table, people from outside the state will be wondering what these people mean. That was why I took the pains to go there yesterday to show the current state. I did a live video, I'm sure you watched.
Yeah.
To see the current state of what they call a center table.
Is construction still going on?
Oh yes. Even as of that yesterday, construction was on. The truth is that before the end of this year, I do not want to put a specific
just before you try to draft a timeline for us. What would you say have militated against the completion of this job?
There is nothing stopping it. The work is moving according to schedule.
Oh really?
Oh yes. The problem is that
persons have compared flyover construction in River State.
We are not in competition with any state. That's the mistake people make. They are always setting competitions in their heads. We are not competing with any state.
Okay.
Every state is peculiar. Every state has its own peculiarities, its own challenges, its own plans. Every governor is different. Every governor has his own plans. Governor Ikpeazu'S is not in competition with any governor on the building of flyover or any road for that matter. So the construction of the Osoma flyover is following the schedule of construction.
You can say that.
That is what it is.
Okay. Last week on the media edition of the program Executive Brief, we talked about the counterpart funding of road construction, which has to have a stretch, I think, from Orata Road to Port Harcourt, from Obio and Ohanku Road. How long do you think this will take? Do you think that the Ikpeazu'S administration would see that contract through?
No, this is a very clear. You live in Umuahia here. I'm sure you know. You this is not the first time you are seeing a World Bank project, a World Bank assisted project, as it were. In Abia State, in Umuahia here, the road from if you go towards Mission Hill,
okay,
the road that enters into Isingu area, done in collaboration. The Abia State government did in collaboration with the
Omoda Ishingu.
Absolutely, that area is a World Bank project. Now, the 27.4 billion naira World Bank assisted project in Aba has a timeline. This one has a timeline clearly defined from the start. The timeline is 2 years, 6 months, 2.5 years. That is the timeline for those projects.
2.5 years.
Absolutely. And
starting whenever it starts.
It will start. The governor was on radio last week and he said in 2 weeks.
Or fortnight, yes.
Fortnight, it will start. So from that point,
we've counted 1 week.
Yes, and this is a World Bank project. So it is not just Abia State money. Abia State money is there. The World Bank is there with their funds, and I want to correct this impression. A lot of people think that Abia State went to the World Bank to get a loan. It is not a loan. It is a development support fund.
So we're not paying back.
We're not paying back. What we did is that we, after a 4-year period of talks and negotiations, Abia State government puts some money down. If you are familiar with development finance, you will understand what I'm saying. You put some money down called counterpart funds to activate the bulk of the funding from the World Bank. So that is
Abia State government have their funds ready.
No, we have paid to the World Bank. It was that act of paying to the World Bank that activated
the
release of
the balance
of the huge amount.
Okay, the way you describe huge.
Oh, it's a lot of money. 27.4 billion naira is a lot of money.
We're hoping that it's put into good use.
Oh yes, the World Bank projects are carefully managed. The World Bank has its own standards. When we say that the money is in our kitty, it does not mean that it is in the account of the Abia State government. No, but it is in an account here in Abia State, superintended jointly by the World Bank and the Abia State government. So, as contractors work, World Bank consultants certify their work and payments are made.
Okay.
So it is not money that will come under any form of political influence at all.
All right, we'll take a moment right now, and when we return, more to come. Online meeting of the Nigerian Governors Forum. We'll talk about children. May 27th is the day set aside for celebration of Children's Day. And of course, we'll get to talk about the man, Solomon Ogunji. I'm Temple Bar, and this is Executive Brief.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
Glad to know you're still tuned in to Flow 94.9 FM. The program is Executive Brief, a compendium of the activities of the Abia State Governor, Okezie Victor Ikpeazu. This is courtesy of the Office of the Chief Press Secretary, who happens to be in the studio this morning, Barrister Onyebuchi Imemanka. Just before we took that momentary detour, we talked about the Children's Day celebration. And this is to marry it with the educational plan for the Abia State children by the Abia State government. Let's look at this administration's plan for children and education generally.
Well, this past week marked the Children's Day, and Governor Okezie Ikpeazu is a man whose love for children can no longer be overstressed. A teacher himself, he has consistently shown that he cares about the Abia child, which explains his decision to ensure that even while schools are shut on account of COVID-19, our children in school do not get to lose completely. This is what led to the radio initiative of his administration, through which we don't need to emphasize on that again.
Last week when we had a conversation,
Yeah.
We talked about plans to extend the radio classroom to other broadcasting houses.
The plans are still very much alive, because we believe that the more radio stations get involved, the more children we will reach. So the point here is that the governor cares about Abia children, and will do everything. In fact, he was telling me the other day about a package he is also working on to enhance e-learning.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to go into the details of that yet, but I want you to know that in addition to the radio classroom, the governor is already thinking ahead to get something that will enhance e-learning, even if schools reopen.
Okay, Lagos State government, parents are against the fact that schools are about to reopen in Lagos State. Are there plans, post-COVID plans for school reopening, and how the state government intends to go about it as regards
every government has such plans. I mean, students cannot be at home, indefinitely. At some point, schools will have to reopen, and when that decision will be taken, every consideration will be put on the table. The health of the children, the security, and so many other issues will have to be. And when that time comes, government will do the needful at all levels. But Tisibara, I want to also inform you that this same week, Governor Okezie Ikpeazu formally inaugurated the Abia State post-COVID-19 Economic Advisory Council.
I was about to ask you that question.
Yes.
And what informed the choice of members of that committee?
Yes. If you look at the membership of the committee, their names ring bells across economic firmaments in this country. The chairman of that committee is a very distinguished Nigerian Professor Anya OON, National Order of Merit winner. boardroom guru and former president of the Academy of Sciences. He's a man whose pedigree is well known in this country. He is going to chair, or he is the chairman of that committee. There are several others. The immediate past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Maazin Nnamdi Okwuadibo, the former managing director and chief executive officer of Diamond Bank, Dr. Emeka Onwuka. You have the former minister of trade and industry, Dr. Mike, Dr. Nelama. You have Mr. Sam Onuku, a Lagos-based financial and management consultant. You have a traditional ruler who is incidentally also a serving professor of finance at the University of Lagos, is a Professor S.I. Owuala. You have Dr. Khalid Kakalo, the world-renowned financial expert. You have Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, former minister. These are all Abians. You have the chairman of Mainland Oil and Gas, our big brother and friend from Isuochi, Dr. Chris Odinaka Igwe, and so many of them. So they had a virtual meeting, and the governor formally inaugurated them with a charge to go and develop, to dig into their years of experiences and successes in the financial and management economic spheres of the country, and help the state develop a blueprint that will help us, cope with the shocks that COVID-19 will inevitably or has inevitably brought to our economy. These are men, you don't need to talk too much about them. Everybody knows who. Okay. Everybody.
So let's not talk too much and move on very quickly.
So Governor assured clearly that he has implicit confidence in their abilities and that government will not hesitate to implement all their recommendations.
Beautiful, then. Let's talk about some blueprint. Last week, we had the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum talking about Dave Umahi, governor of Ebonyi State, say that they were going to move on and employ state houses of assembly to come up with a blueprint for the implementation of a regional police outfit.
Yes.
Was this part of the discussion they had very recently with the Inspector General of Police in a virtual meeting?
Absolutely. There were two meetings earlier this week. The governor of Abia State joined his colleagues from the southeast and some very important, some very eminent sons and daughters of the southeast geopolitical zone in a virtual meeting. The Inspector General of Police was part of that meeting, and one of the key issues they discussed was how to secure the southeast, and ensure that all the states speak with one voice. And there were disagreements here and there with the IG, but the governors put their feet down and stated that they want a security outfit that is indigenous to our people, that they do not want an imposition of a security structure, a security architecture that is alien to our people, because security works when it is in tandem with the heartbeat and the environment of the people. So the governors have mandated their houses of assembly in each of the states and to look into the possibility of enacting a law that will support an indigenous, home-based, homegrown security architecture for the Southeast, which will be integrated into a regional security outfit. So this was one of the discussions or the decisions reached at the meeting of the Southeast Governors Forum with the Inspector General of Police and some eminent sons and daughters of the Southeast. That same day too, a virtual meeting of the enlarged Nigerian Governors Forum also held, and the same meeting also was a fallout of the National Economic Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yomi Oshibanjo last week. It dovetailed into this very meeting with the governors, and they got briefings as usual from key managers of the economy, especially the CACOVID, a representative of CACOVID. CACOVID is the coalition against COVID by the public sector, private sector group rather, headed by Alhaji Aliko Dangote. They've been mustering, gathering funds to help the government manage the shocks COVID has brought to the economy.
Just to deviate from this a little bit, in one sentence, or yes or no, do you agree that virtual meetings should be the way to go? Yes or no?
They are
yes or no.
Well, you can't box me into a yes or no corner.
But I can.
No. It's a good addition.
Okay.
It's one of the discoveries that COVID has led us to. But there are circumstances. There are circumstances where
human interface
is very important.
Okay.
That after that there was a meeting of the Southeast, a physical meeting of the Southeast Governors Forum in Enugu this week,
where the deputy governor,
yes, Governor Ikpeazu'S had concluded plans to attend the meeting. But something happened, and he just felt he couldn't go.
Okay.
And a few hours later, the worst happened, and Abia State lost one of its most energetic, most committed, most passionate, most I don't know the words to use, but I must tell you that in the few years I have been around government, I have never seen a man as passionate, as committed, as hardworking as the late doctor. It's quite sad referring to him in the past tense.
Well, Dr. Solomon Ogunji, Commissioner for Environment and an integral member of the COVID-19 committee. However, he has passed on. At this point in time, if you had any words, you'd want to say as a way of summarizing.
Yeah, I want to say that I have worked close with Governor Ikpeazu'S for 3 years now, and in the last 1 year as his chief press secretary. I have seen him in his high moments, I have seen him in his low moments, I have seen him happy, sad, but never have I seen him this devastated, this broken, and this broken-hearted. The death of Dr. Solomon Ogunji, broke the heart of Governor Ikpeazu'S. And one thing I noticed is that even men of power also cry.
Wow.
The death of Dr. Ogunji shattered Governor Ikpeazu'S personally. It goes beyond the line of duty. I'm sure they share a very close personal friendship that has lasted for over 40 years. And I want to use this opportunity to pray the Almighty God to accept his soul and give the family and our governor the fortitude to bear this loss, and most importantly, help us, give us the divine wisdom and grace to find a replacement. Men like Dr. Ogunji are difficult to replace.
Thank you very much. Well, this is the much we can take on today's edition, the second episode of Executive Brief. Hopefully, next week, Friday at 9:30 a.m., we'd also have the Chief Press Secretary to tell us of the activities of the governor. Fortunately, we may not be able to, look at what his week looks like, but we're hoping that he'll come back next week to tell you or tell us how it did go. Have a wonderful day and continue to listen to our programs because we put them together for your listening pleasure. I am Temple Barra and I've been with Barrister Onyebuchi Imimanka, Chief Press Secretary to the Abia State Government. Bye for now.